And really the issue is being posed as there's a housing crisis, there's a housing crisis. And so I think it's really important for us to take a step back and understand what is the cause of that housing crisis and how do we make a plan for moving forward that isn't reactionary but is with a critical analysis of what led us into this and strategically and creatively and collaboratively thinking about our way out. And this is the evictions that have been happening. And if you can see, right around when Ed Lee became our mayor, what do you notice from compared where it is now? It's a steady increase from when he became mayor. So the guiding questions for this talk tonight. Question 1, is housing crisis the right term? I'm going to posit that maybe a better term is unsustainable growth, displacement, and inequitable prosperity after a global financial collapse. So we had this terrible economic global recession and meltdown that was caused by who? It was caused by banks. Question 2 that's guiding us. Who are the winners and losers of the global financial collapse caused by the risky policy and fraudulent lending and investments from too big to fail banks? Who wins and who loses in San Francisco after the global financial collapse? And what policy is needed to equitably and sustainably raise all boats moving forward? Question 3, is inclusive, sustainable, culturally enriching development possible within the status quo of our current development and our current system? And if not, how do we get there strategically? So this tonight is an information session in part about Prop I and our support of Prop I for moving forward. And it's really saying let's pause for a plan because, like we're saying, the trajectory that we're on is not going to get us to a place that's equitable and sustainable and inclusive. So we need to figure out a different plan. And that's what this event tonight is really about, is let's not just say no, let's find our yes so that we can actually be excited about the future of development in San Francisco. Do you want to be excited about the future of development in San Francisco? Yeah. How do you feel right now? You feel a little despair, right? It's just like gulp. But we actually want to feel excited about the future. So my thesis is this: Mayor Lee's administration lacked proper analysis and foresight to ensure sustainable growth and equitable prosperity when creating economic and development policies after the global financial collapse. We didn't have an unemployment crisis, and we didn't have a housing crisis before the global economic collapse. That's what I wanted to point out there. So 30,000 empty homes. In 2010, displacement through eviction were lower than they were in 2007. So we didn't have a displacement crisis either. So I just want to show you that we're being told to look at the wrong cause of our issues right now. Prop I Heart SF is saying basically that you can't destroy PDR space and it has to be 100% affordable. Doesn't that sound exactly like what the Eastern Neighborhoods Plan is? So basically, we pass the Eastern Neighborhoods Plan, and then we have to pass a separate piece of legislation that says, hey guys, remember you have to follow the Eastern Neighborhoods Plan? Investment strategies. AFL-CIO is a union. They use their pension fund to invest in 4 different developments in San Francisco over the last few years. They were doing it for job creation, but I have a much better idea how they could get more bang for their buck in terms of investing. So this is one of the properties they invested in, and it was a $58 million loan that they gave. It was an $82 million project altogether. So when you think about how to make that 100% affordable, let's say 82 million for 162 units at 100% affordable. 80 units could be rented for an average income of $50,000. So that could, more or less, I'm just saying that's the average for 80 of those units. 42 units, and that could be for 1 or 2 people. 42 units for 100K. A third of that income is 30,000K they'd be paying a year. And then you have 40 units that make 150K up to that point per year. If you had that, then you'd actually be able to pay off that entire loan and investment in 19 years. and then you'd just be making pure profit. This is an amazing opportunity, fundrise.com. You can see here they're building from the ground up in Salt Lake City. You can get a 14% return on investment that will come back to you in 3 years. We have the ability to build our city. We have the ability in San Francisco, there's so much wealth here that we can actually get people to have some civic pride and invest in building our city. So pro-worker, faster building strategies, like I was telling you about, that building, there's a company called Forge. Right now in the San Francisco Bay Area, there is not one prefab manufacturing plant. We have to change that. As mayor, I will change that. As a regional thinker, I will change that, because we don't need a manufacturing plant in San Francisco because we don't have the space for it. But guess who has it? Fremont, Hayward, Oakland. So there is space to be able to do this. It's not here, but if we had 3 different centers that were doing prefab throughout the region right now, they're going to do this one in Sacramento. It's the first of its kind. But I've been paying attention to this for the last year. If I was your mayor for the last year, you would have seen a lot of changes a lot quicker than this guy that we have right now. So 9-story eco-friendly Melbourne apartment building goes up in 5 days with this technology. So it cuts down on the construction time, but Forge, let me remind you, is a union operation. They're all union. It's going to be a shift for some of, we're not going to switch all to this kind of style, but it's going to be part of what we do. And so there'll still be jobs for people locally who are carpenters and plumbers and doing things the old-fashioned way. So my idea is, why don't we actually pick 5 to 10, like per neighborhoods, like different districts, say, we like these 5 to 10 styles. If you do this, we're going to speed up the entitlement process. Additional dwelling units. Right now, they are allowed in District 8 and District 3, Christensen and Wieners District. We need to make them available in every district, because there are 37,000 parcels within the city that have already been identified that could have 1 or more additional dwelling units. Here's how we make it for the workers. Here's how we make it for our people. What we do is the city creates a program. Ed Lee could do this too. Steal this idea, Ed Lee. You can create a system where it's our teachers, our paraprofessionals, our healthcare workers, our artists. We have a list of people that it's a platform style that's similar to an Airbnb style, which copied from couchsurfing.com. Let's not forget. It's being able to build up a confidence in the people who want to rent and saying they're part of this workforce, and we're going to help. If any property owner wants to build an additional dwelling unit, which estimated at $50,000 to $150,000 to build a new unit, we, the city, will help you finance that if you agree to rent to one of these people in this platform registry for 30% of their income. And you can take pride, in developing a house for one of your neighbors in need. Ed Lee sees more and more links between downtown development and affordable housing. Ed Lee sees those links. He has special glasses. He sees more and more links between a market rate developer and their support for the development of affordable housing. Do you see those links? He has such special glasses. Ed Lee is excited to see so much change going on, and so much of it positive. So, special glasses once again. And with so many more residents able to share in that very prosperity. Do you feel that people are able to share in the prosperity right now? I don't. I don't feel that. That's why I'm running for mayor. He closed by calling for the creation of the most inclusive city this planet has ever imagined. We in this room can make this the most inclusive, sustainable city that this planet has ever imagined. We can do that. We need political will at City Hall to ensure that we put the needs of our neighbors, community-serving businesses and orgs, and planet above excessive profits for developers, realtors, and investors. That's what we need. We need that political will. And here are 3 people who are working to make that happen.